Welcome to the Way Forward Talks. The Way Forward is a company where we are into career development and hobby development. In career development, we do interview preparation, resume preparation, and as well as training the people for future betterment in their career. Today, we are commemorating Navratri by talking with women entrepreneurs. And we have a beautiful entrepreneur or a freelancer with us. She's been into the training field for so many years. She's been a HR and empowered many people now by training many more beautiful minds. So we will welcome Ms Deepa Gangadharan onto the platform and we could hear more about her in her own words. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much. I am an HR and L&D professional and been in this industry for almost 19 years now. And 19 years has not always been into HR and L&D itself. I've done a varied set of roles. So I started off with as an executive and then moved on to becoming into the operations and everything. And then because I had an interest towards people and the kind of empathy and everything that is involved with working with people, I was more drawn to the HR and the training field, and that's how I ventured into that, and I really found myself to be in the right place, working with people and everything. So that's what it is.
As a HR director, you would have had the ability to reach greater heights. How did you venture into coaching?
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Anu. So, as you're aware, I was still working with people, and then I realized that I have this flair for working with people. But over the years, there was something missing. I was feeling a little restrictive in what I could do, and with the kind of knowledge that I have and everything, I just felt it was more restrictive in a corporate scenario. And added to that, I did have like a personal, experience, personal tragedy in my life, and which made me go into a lot of, self, delving into my own self and things like that. And then I realized that okay, there is much more I could actually do, and I need to talk to people and then share my story and then help them in whatever way that I can. And that's when I really, ventured into coaching as such, because I feel there is a lot of benefits to coaching, which many people, at least in India, we are not still explored it. And there is still a social stigma attached to the very term coaching, and not many people do realize what coaching is. So I felt that, okay, when I went into that particular transformation in my life and I saw the, positive effects that I had in my life, I felt it is my, duty, or like a motto, or a thing that I could go ahead and actually spread this word across to many people, and thereby uplifting them and their lives. And that gave me a kind of a boost which I never had before. And I was all along a corporate person, never worked as an entrepreneur or even thought of doing that. Thought did come, but never wasn't the comfort of the coaching, comfort of the corporate. And then when I really had to step out, it took a lot of courage and thinking and thought process. But there was something in me that kept saying that, okay, go ahead. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what is right for you. And that's when I did that. And when I left my corporate job, I didn't have any backup in mind. I didn't know what I'm going to do. But all I knew was corporate. I was done with corporate and I had to move on. And I didn't know at that point in time what it would be. But something in these lines, is what I was thinking. And then once I, left my job back in 2020, somewhere in August 2020 is when I actually left. And with the COVID and with everything, I just felt, okay, this is the right, thing to do. And people are really in need of coaching, but they're not coming out and not, even acknowledging the fact that they need help. So that's when I thought, okay, I would need to reach out to people. And so from that restrictive perspective, right now, since I'm an entrepreneur, I feel that my area is vast and I can do much more. And then not worried about policies and procedures and everything that generally binds us in a corporate. Not that it is bad, but then for that particular environment, it is good. But it has its own advantages and disadvantages. So I thought I would step into that, step out of that, and then look as to what I could do. And here I am.
Amazing, amazing. So you have listened to your heart and you have become what you are. So really happy for that and happy for you. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Great. Wishing you great success ahead. So
thanks so much.
Wonderful. So over the years when you are working in your corporate job or now when you are into coaching, how is it that you're able to manage your work and as well as your family? How is it you're carrying both of them together? And what is the best thing we can do to have a better work-life balance? Your tip to people.
All right. So I got to be honest here. So while I was with the corporate, my work-life balance was a mess. Okay. With a lot of responsibilities in a particular thing, and so it was never scheduled. It was never oriented. I would have calls early in the morning. I would have calls late in the night and everything. So it was completely a mess, and that also was another factor that actually led me out of the corporate, where I felt that there are a lot that is happening which is not conscious. Like, you're just going by the grind. You just going with the flow and not really knowing what you're doing or why you're doing, or what is it bringing to you. And yeah, of course, for the when we are working in a corporate, we know what is it, what are the goals, what are the things that we're doing. But when you come back home and you sit, you're like, okay, what's happening? Okay, so that's when this thing came up. And so now that I am in a space where I can create my own flexi time and everything, so very consciously I make a decision that, okay, Monday to Saturday I'm available for my clients and I'm available for everything, and Sunday is one day that I'm going to be completely taking my break and taking that me time and everything. And even back when I was in working in corporates, yes, Sunday was a holiday, but it was not a holiday per se, because you still have a couple of backlogs, you still have your colleagues calling in, and a lot of things like that. But one thing that I followed back then and even now is to honor my me time. It could be any time that you fix for you in a day, but having a me time for yourself is very crucial, because that is when you will be connecting with you and you would be, in sync with what you want, or at least do something. And when I say me time, it need not have to be like a 1 hour or a 2 hour or a big thing that you need to take it off in your calendar or something like that. You just probably have to have at least that 15 minutes of time or half an hour of your, 24 hours of time, and just spend that with yourself and things which you like to do. So what I would do back then was, I love cooking. So while cooking, I used to play my music. And so that was something that I would really enjoy. And apart from that, I used to just, I love traveling. So I like going on my bikes. So I just take my bike. Even though it's not anything to buy or anything to go specifically, I just take my bike out and just go around for a round. At least not in the traffic time, because then that's not going to help me in any ways. But say take some time out, and it's not always the same. Okay, it changes. So it can change for anyone. So this is one tip that I would really want everyone, irrespective of women or man. Any individual should have a scheduled me time for themselves, and it is something that is going to give them their own space and their own it's a sense of peace of mind, I would say that.
Very true. Very true. Amazing. I just really accepted that, because I had my me time today morning, which never happens with a work week. So today was a break for me for that. So that's nice. I stick with that. Amazing. So you mentioned about your spark into coaching. So what was your spark into entrepreneurship?
Right. So my father was an entrepreneur. Okay, he was a retailer, and he wanted, I have a twin brother, and he wanted both of us to get into something like a business and stuff, and always encouraged us to do that. But back then, when we were growing up and when I just finished my college, we weren't doing that great financially, and stepping into a business or in a forum where further investment was required was not an apt moment for us at that point in time. And that's when I ventured into, a salary job and, taking care of the family and things like that. So that happened. But always at the back of my mind, there was, I think, my father's words were always there, and then the thought of yes, and he believed in me, completely, like nobody else, who around me. So somewhere I felt like, okay, I should heed to that. But the tragic part of that is that this really hit me is after my father's death. So that is what I told you, that I went through a personal trauma, and not trauma. I went through a personal. It was a great loss, and during that process, his death actually gave rise to a lot of questions and a lot of thought process in me and everything. And I think that's when the spark actually happened back in 2017. But then I could actually put it in place, implement it only in from 2020, when COVID happened, and I felt, okay, this is the right time that I really get into this and stuff. And I had gone through a lot from 2015 till, after my dad's death, and then post that, life was never the same. Okay, it was different. And when I outgrew myself, or came out and did all of those things with myself, invariably I was coaching myself.
Yes.
Okay, so I was unconsciously coaching myself, and I realized that there are a lot of people who are in the similar things like me. It need not necessarily be a tragedy or a loss. It could be something that is happening in their life, and where they're questioning, who am I, what am I doing, where am I headed to? These kind of questions. When these kind of questions are coming to you, you really got to pay heed to that, because it's trying to tell you something. So take a pause that time and then address that and see where it goes. It could just mean that you will continue with your own these same things, but it not necessarily that, okay, it's going to be a drastic change. But please acknowledge that these questions are coming for a reason, and that reason might not be, you might not be aware of it, but then it is coming for a reason. So acknowledge that fact and then delve into it and see what that message is coming out for you. And for me, this was what the message was, that okay, you need to do something that is that something that is for a greater good, and probably into this. So that's when the entrepreneurship happened, and probably that's the courage that I really got. My dad's words and my dad's encouragement and my dad's support and my dad's belief in me is something that gave me that courage to come up. So I think so that is how I actually ventured into an entrepreneurship, and I'm still learning. Okay, I'm always a corporate person, never ventured into entrepreneurship, but it's been a great journey, and it's really teaching me a lot of things. And because of my foundation in the corporates, it's really helping me a lot, because in corporates you learn a lot of things and stuff like that. So it's a learning process, and it's a great learning process, and I'm really enjoying it. Looking forward to more experiences and learnings in that front, and see if I can further step up into my entrepreneurship.
I'm sure you're going to, ma'am. I'm sure you're going to fly high and make yourself much bigger. So I think your dad has given his knowledge into you, and he's blessing you from wherever he is. So
yes, I believe so.
Great. So now we'll just take a small break from entrepreneurship, and we will just venture into self-love, because this is a very common term which is coming into hearing nowadays. So what is your take on it?
This question is really interesting, and I really appreciate you putting this question here. And I would like to really say that there are a lot of myths surrounding the whole concept of self-love. And I know over the years now, at least in the last 2-3 years, self-love has come into being as the most important thing. But at the same time, there are a lot of myths associated with that. So first off, I would like to say that the myth is self-love means selfish. Okay, it's not that. It's definitely not that. So the thing is, if you don't love yourself, there is no way that you're going to love somebody else. It can be anything. It can be a thing. It can be an animal. It can be a person. But if you don't love yourself, then there is absolutely no way that you can love anybody else, because you're always, seeking for external validation for your worth, which is a very sad state to be, because it's like a slavery. Okay, so if you love yourself and you know what you are and you know your worth, then the space in which you operate, the space in which you are talking to people and interacting with people is a whole lot different than when you are completely depleted of your own love. It's just like just like a cup. Okay, if you don't have your cup filled with love, you cannot pour love out of that. So it's very important that you fill your cup, even have it overflowing for that matter. Only then would you be able to fill somebody else's cup or anything for that matter. So self-love is a very, very critical aspect, and it's no joke that it has come out and it has been talked about so much, because the world has actually lost the whole meaning or lost the whole purpose of it, because everybody is just going behind the set norms and things like that, and they don't really know what they're doing, and they're not doing it for themselves, right? People are born, and then the minute you're born, expectations are poured onto you, and none of that is yours. None of that is what you want to do. So what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do in your life? So the whole concept of my coaching philosophy is based on Be Beautiful, which is nothing but a take on a beautiful you. Okay, so if you are beautiful within yourself, you have the power to make everything around you even more beautiful than what it is. So self-love is that power that you're giving yourself, not just for you, but for everybody around you. So if you're not able to take care of yourself or take care of love yourself, there is no way you would be able to do it. So here's my thing. Okay, just think about this. So you've not had your food. Okay, and you probably can work towards it and stuff like that, and try and give food for everybody, but how long will you last? You're not going to last for long. You will fall down, and you will be fatigued and everything, and that is exactly what is happening to your body, your mind, your soul when you don't love yourself. So it's very critical. But again, let me tell you this. We as human beings, we are a social being, and we need everybody's love and we need everybody's affection. But self-love does not mean that, okay, I don't need anybody else. So sorry, that's not what it means. You still need everybody else. You still need your validation. You still need your love. You still need your affection, not validation, sorry. But it has to come from within first. So unless it doesn't come from within, it's not going to percolate outside. And we all are social beings, and we all need love and affection and everything. So just because somebody is saying that, okay, I like self-love, it doesn't mean that, hey, I don't like you or I don't like people around me. It's not that. So it's actually adding to your relationship. It's actually adding more value to your actual being. So that's the reason why I personally believe in self-love a lot. And I believe the power of you, as in you look up to yourself and see what you are, understand what you are first, and then you'll be in a much better space to actually look at the surroundings and look at the people and do what you can in that sense. So it's self-love for me is an absolute bliss. It's an absolute requirement or a skill that you consciously need to inculcate into your life. And examples of self-love is very easy. It's just that, okay, you're befriending yourself. You're your own best friend, okay? And another example of that would be you're forgiving yourself. You complimenting yourself, and you trying to do things, or you trying to heal from whatever hurt that you've had yourself. These are all parts of self-love. Self-love does not mean that, okay, I will do whatever I want and I don't want to listen to other people, because that is the kind of misconceptions that has come up in the society, which unfortunately is not good. So self-love is much, much beyond than what all these myths are. It's all about how you see yourself and how you value yourself and how much you love yourself, so that you can spread that love across to people. It's not selfish. It's not for you. It's for everybody around you.
Amazing. Amazing. I think that was a very short and beautiful explanation about self-love, and I truly accepted that self-love is very important for us to grow and as well as grow the society along with us. So that is
Exactly.
beautiful. Wonderful. So, as a trainer and a coach, how do you see the current generation working to be more positive and energetic, aware and adapting to any situation? And what is your tip to them to increase this and maintain a focused life?
Okay, so the current generation is very smart, you know. So at least with the kind of technology and kind of information that they have at their fingertips, is they're in a much better space than I was when I was growing up, because you know we just had probably the Doordarshan as our TV source, and later slowly it came up to other things, and then the cable and everything. But right now with the internet and with the the web and everything, they have access to everything and anything, and sometimes even dangerous stuff. But yeah, let's not talk about that, but let's look at the positivity of the the information that they have. And honestly, with the COVID and everything that has come up, Anu, I have seen that the younger generation have really adapted. They're very quick in adapting to the situation, and they make amends very quickly. So in terms of adapting, in terms of things, I think they're all already there. They're good there. The only thing that I would want them to be a little bit more focused on is in terms of doing things consciously. So what happens is, like, we all heard of midlife crisis and things like that. That happens because there is no conscious effort into where you're going. As I told you, you just you're born, you go into college, and you go to college and you take up the course that your parents want you to do, or probably the thing that is happening in the society, and then you get into a job, and then you start working, living for things and everything. But again, the whole point is you're missing out. You're doing all of these things for whom, for what, and why? So one thing that if I can give to them, and with the kind of intelligence that our younger generation right now have, they can really understand, where they are and what they want to do, and why they're doing it. And if they find these things and consciously work towards that, I think then they will not get into any midlife crisis like how we generally do. And the whole concept of midlife crisis can actually go out, because if you start living consciously, then you're aware as to where you're going, you're aware as to what is happening. So there is no question of the question mark coming later somewhere in the in the middle of your life. So one thing that I would definitely want, or probably give out as an advice, is to live consciously, is to understand why and what, and then go about the how of things. So once they do that, then the how of things will become more enjoyable, and they will be living happily. Because at least when I was in the corporates, it was like, okay, we only had 2 days to live our life, which is Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Which I don't think so the younger generation is even going to accept that kind of a thing, with the 4-day work week and the 3-day work week and all of those things coming into picture. They're already aware and they already know what they want. Okay. And it's about, and they stand up and fight for what they want, which is a good thing. I wish we were doing it back in our days, and standing up more for ourselves and voicing out our concerns, because asking questions is very valid, because that is when you will get to know your why, you get to know the what and the how and everything. So I would say keep asking questions, whether to yourself or to others, or and find answer that is gonna is in alignment with your values, is in alignment with your desires, is alignment with what you want to do in life, and then take it forward. And I'm sure it is going to be. The one thing that is common, that is there, is about dedication. So if you do not have a dedication to what you're doing, then irrespective of whether you're living consciously or unconsciously, it's not going to yield any result. So being conscious and being dedicated to what you want to do, I think this is my message to all the youngsters, and that's about it. So if they have that clarity, I think things would be fine.
So true, very much. Passion, dedication, and love for whatever they do is very important. Amazing.
Right.
So now coming back to entrepreneurship and women. So how do you see that women should empower themselves or equip themselves to be better entrepreneurs?
Okay. So we're all in, still in India, women are not given the kind of space or respect that they deserve. So I would say it is about women really understanding what they want. Again, not entrepreneurship is not meant for everyone, right? Not everybody would be comfortable doing an entrepreneurship or things like that. But if they're willing to do that, they first need to have the courage that they can do it and work with whatever limiting beliefs that the society has put on them, right? So unless and until if somebody is really, if any woman out there, okay, is willing to step into entrepreneurship, the first and foremost thing that I would want to tell you is be thick-skinned. Forget about what others are telling. If you feel this is right, please go ahead and do what it is. And of course, I'm not saying just jump into it or something, do your own research, understand the risk factor and everything, and then go ahead and do it if you feel it is right. Because anytime any woman wants to do something, the society comes in, why do you want to do this? You have a husband who can take care of you, or you have a father who's taking care of you, or your brother is taking care of you. So you don't need that. But that's not the thing. We women don't need to be taken care of. Okay, of course, I'm not against men or women or anything like that. So please don't get me wrong in that sense. I just feel that each person, each individual has their own space and needs to be given the respect they deserve. So irrespective of what you want to do, I don't want to say only about entrepreneurship here because, as I told you, it's not everybody's cup of tea. People might not like it, but whatever it is that their heart is telling them to do, and if they have the right skills to do that, and even if they don't have the right skills, they can actually enhance those skills. They can take some courses, they can go for some upskilling themselves, they can do that. So understanding first what they want to do, and then see how they can equip themselves to go ahead and do it, and then just go for it, and then have that firm belief in themselves and not limit themselves from any of the negative talks that is coming from people. And sometimes not necessarily negative, it can be positive because they are actually coming and telling you out of the love and concern that they have, but actually they're demotivating you, or probably they're putting you in a space of self-doubt, and which is something that you'll have to really work with. So if you make a decision in following your heart, and no matter what it is, do not get into this thing of self-doubt. And don't limit yourself to your own beliefs. Break it, break all of those things and come out of it, and then you will see that all of those things, all of those days are worth it. Because even if you wouldn't have, probably, I'm not saying that anything that you try is going to be a 100% success. It's okay. It doesn't matter if it's a success or not. What is the best thing that's going to happen? You're going to be back to square one. That's it. Was the worst thing, sorry. The best thing is you can go one step ahead. So you're not going to lose either ways, because whether you try or you don't try, you still remain in the same place. But then when you try, there's a chance of you moving away from that space and moving into something better. So that is what I would definitely want to do. So you can try. So try, go follow your heart and equip yourself to whatever it is that you need to do, and then just go for it.
Amazing, ma'am. So I think this brings us to a great completion of the whole interview and the whole session. And the positivity and the energy you have is spreading into us. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for taking your time away from your family on a weekend for us. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Anu. It was great talking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.